Hello everyone. So today's episode is going to be very different, and this is kind of a new start to my YouTube channel, to be very honest. Um, I wanted to share what I have learned in this entire journey, becoming an entrepreneur, as well as I wanted to share the personal development I as an individual have gone through, so that anyone listening to this podcast understand the depth of it and can implement that to a level where they can meet the better versions of themselves. So honestly, this particular series or playlist that I'm creating over YouTube, this is the main idea of it. I come across so many teenagers, so many adults, and this is just not about my own country. I have interacted with so many people over the time, but a very consistent issue that I have seen in so many people is their abandonment anxiety. People are super scared of losing whom they love. Now, majority of the time we think that this is like a natural reflex that you have when you are into someone or when you love someone a lot, and it actually doesn't really mean about love relationships between a couple, partner, or married people, but this is also very relevant for family, friends, and lots of things. And I think any form of anxiety can negatively not only harm your personal health or your physical and mental health, but also highly affect the issues within your workspace. So I think mental health for entrepreneurs is a subject which is very less spoken of, but it is equally important. But if you are someone who is not an entrepreneur and has tuned in, trust me, I'm not going to just speak about entrepreneurs, or I'm not going to speak about what walk of life you are in, but I'm going to speak about what is abandonment anxiety and how to understand that you have it in this first episode. And then over this entire period, we will go through different tips and tricks in RBT processes by which we will understand how to deal with this anxiety within yourself and get healed. So you can think that this is like my small gift to you all for Christmas or New Year, whenever you're tuning in. But I think this will be a gift for a lifetime from my end to you guys. So let me go into more details about what is abandonment anxiety, okay? And then I will also share what are the symptoms you go through and how to understand the signs and how to understand that how it looks like within you, because sometimes I think mental health is very much ignored. Even if we go through issues like that, we don't address it, we don't understand it. And I have personally seen many women go through this. Honestly, I have also been there at a point of time, and after healing myself, I think that I want to be in this journey of healing anyone who is listening to this series. So when I'm calling it a series, it means that it's not going to be all in one episode, because again, like, I am not great expert at YouTube or something, but I have just heard that putting in so much information in one episode won't be the most wisest thing to do. So I'm breaking down it in different segments. So this one is going to be entirely about abandonment anxiety, what it is, how do you realize you have, as well as what are the signs. And in the next few episodes, we will be going deeper about how you can work towards it and how you can fix it. So let's start with the basic definition or introduction, whatever you call it, so that you understand what is it exactly what I'm talking about. I think many of you have already understood, but still, just to make it easier for everyone who is tuning in from any part of the world. So fear of abandonment is a type of anxiety that some people experience when faced with the idea of losing someone they care about. Okay, So I have seen many women going out on date, many men going out, as well as sometimes I have seen that even parents have this kind of anxiety around kids, that what if my son gets married to someone and what happens to me, who will take care of us, or my daughter is going to get married and she's going to like move across, like how things are going to be. And they go through this kind of anxiety, and this is so real. Also, many people say that anxiety is something which is in the mind, but you have no clue how much it affects your physical being as well. A lot of issues with the gastric system as well as the migraine issues actually stem down from anxiety. So let me share a few signs and symptoms by which you can identify that you are having such issues. Okay. So the first thing is, as I just said, that maybe you are a parent, you are a new parent, or you have been into this parenting end for several years now, and your son is going to get married or your son is going to settle out abroad. This also applies to your daughter. And you are afraid of the fact, you're anxious about the fact that you will be left alone and they won't be caring about you, or they will forget about you and things like that. The second sign of it will be if you have friends and you worry that your friends or your partner will leave you. Another very strong sign which I have seen in many people is you constantly look for signs that other people don't like you because of your own insecurity that you have within you. So suppose you go out on a party, you go out in any form of a social gathering, and you just put it in your mind that, okay, this person didn't speak to me much, maybe this person doesn't like me, or maybe this person isn't liking me to be present in that particular atmosphere, things like that. Such insecurity stemming out only because you didn't have a proper conversation, or you are an introvert, or the person about whom you are concerned here is an introvert, or any of you didn't take the time to like go speak and initiate a conversation, but you go through this thing that others don't really like you. As well as this also stems to another side of it, that is the people whom you are considering very close to you, in the closest vicinity of you, like your parents, your friends, and you have this fear of losing them. You also want constant validation coming from them that they are concerned about you and they care about you, or you matter to them, because you deep down in your mind have this perception that they don't love you the way you love them, or that is from where this entire phobia also comes forward, that they are going to leave you someday because they don't feel the way you feel for them. So this is a very strong pointer, I think you will understand. You will need much more frequent validation and reassurance from the people that they love you, because you feel within that you are giving your 100% to something and they are not giving it back to you. Now, honestly, I know in many of the cases that is a true fact, that when you go inside any form of a relationship, it can be any relationship. I am not in quotes speaking about love couples, but anyone. Many people think that, okay, I'm giving 100% in this relationship and I'm not getting it back. So what I want to say first to you is that you have to understand that your expression of the 100% devotion, dedication, determination that you're putting in the relationship is not going to be the same like the 100% of the other person. So first is giving that space and understanding that the love language is different. We might have a different segment on love languages later on, but the people who have this form of anxiety, they take a lot more reassurance and validation from people to understand, because they always have this deficit of love, or this kind of a fear of being judged, left alone, which actually regulates the entire thing. Honestly, I have never heard stories that anyone in my family hasn't got married and that girl is like, or that lady or that woman is having the best life of her life. We always associate loneliness with a dark picture. We always associate it with a place where the person has no one to look after, everything is gone, it's all like dark, dim, no shine, nothing. Like that's how it's shown, right? So first thing I would also suggest, like, please stop thinking that just because you don't have a lot of people to cheer you up or surround you, physically present or virtually present, doesn't actually mean that you're alone. And if you're alone, being alone is not being lonely. Being alone is when you don't have a physical or a virtual company by anyone or by a group, but it's not the definition of being lonely, right? It is not something which is going to be dull, dim, and something which is going to like affect you that badly, or it's like a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Okay, alone time is actually important in a month, in a year, in a day, so that you can retrospect what's happening with you, right? So at that point of time, you should not actually say yourself that no, I really don't like the feeling of being alone, and that's why the fear is coming from that particular area with this particular phobia of anxiety, that you will be abandoned by someone. So this is like a very small thing, because I'm saying this like once you're registering it in your mind, I just want you to like think deeply that this is what it is. Being alone is not being lonely. Being alone is not being sad. Being alone, you can be a solo traveler, you can travel the world, you can go somewhere, you can be happy, right? You can just make a coffee by yourself, sit and have a sip and just enjoy the nature. You can just enjoy sitting at a place. You can just enjoy looking at the wall, or you can just enjoy watching a series over Netflix with pizza just by yourself, right? And that's fun. So it's not that you always need someone. Being alone doesn't mean being lonely. Or being lonely in the sense is not going to be a sense of dark or a sense of sadness, because sadness and happiness is something within which you are just like the physical body. Within you, happiness and sadness is like the options of a multiple choice question of life. That is what you select. You select happiness, you select sadness. Okay? Life gives you situations. Okay? The situations either end up leading you to victory or towards lessons that will lead you to victory, right? So you have to understand that you can acknowledge the process where you're working on your dreams, okay, which sometimes we start calling struggle. But you have to understand that the struggling phase or the struggling period is like your own metamorphosis, where you will only end up being a butterfly, right? So even the butterfly has to go through that transition period to become so beautiful. So you will also go through that phase. So either you can have gratitude that you're going through it, either you thank God that you have been given this opportunity to bloom, okay? Or you feel sad that you're struggling or you're going through a bad phase. So happiness and sadness is just the state of mind. It has nothing to do with you being lonely. You can be alone and you can have fun. And I personally recommend everyone to have at least some time with yourself, so that you can actually process everything that's happening with your life. The next pointer would be, you are a people pleaser. Okay, that's like a real thing. Like people who try to please everyone around just because you want that validation and assurance from themselves that they won't leave you. And that is why you also end up having very toxic relationships, because the entire time you just show yourself that you can be taken for granted, because you are trying to do everything that the person wants you to do. You keep doing every thing the person asks you to do, but you actually don't think within yourself that you are just doing it from that void. Okay, you are doing it out of that fear. It is great to like love someone, do everything for that person, be it in a love relationship, be it in a any form of relationships. It's a great thing to give your 100%, and you should always try giving that. But always remember that there is the other side of the coin as well, right? You can't just give everything that you have with the hope that you will get validated and that person won't abandon you. It should not come from a place of fear, right? It should come from a place of love. So if you think you're someone who tend to become a people pleaser only to attract love from people and validation from people so that they don't leave and they don't go away, then trust me, you have this form of anxiety. And this will be the last pointer to understand that you have abandonment anxiety or not. That is having a lack of boundaries in relationships. Okay, so you don't have a boundary in any relationship. You can let anyone interfere in anything of your life. Okay, you don't know how to say no. The word no is super powerful. You should know that if you are not up for something, you should have an opinion of your own where you say it. But just because you want to please people so that they don't leave you and they validate you and they give you the reassurance that they love you back the same way you give it to them, okay, and that also makes you very giving in a relationship. Again, as I said, being giving is good, but giving away everything without keeping anything for yourself or operating from a place of fear is very toxic, right? So that makes you very needy, that makes you disrespect boundaries, and that makes you very, very, very vulnerable in a relationship over a longer period of time. Like, this is an issue you won't understand in the first few years, right? Over the time, you will just realize how needy you are becoming, right? So if you think that any of these things resonate with your current state or your current problem, please, please, please feel free to just listen to this entire series, because I will be taking you through this entire journey. Okay, I will introduce cognitive behavioral therapies, I will be introducing NLP, and I will be actually curating an entire series just for this over YouTube so that you can recover, you can be a better version of yourself, and you don't feel vulnerable anymore, right? So you can be a man, you can be a woman. I really don't care who you are. I only care how you are, right? So this is what it is. Just to, like, while signing off, I'm just saying, like, subscribe to the channel if you think that you're getting value here, and like and comment and share. But honestly, the biggest purpose of making this entire series is to make the person who is listening to this invoke this change within. And this is my small gift for you guys for the new year. Thank you so much.